If we run out.
Anybody else on?
What you get showing up on the back one, sorry. That's all right.
Oh,
But everybody.
Tom has a
else
slide
is
presentation.
Randy Stein. Hi, Randy Stein. Tom, the beekeeper raises all the queens and.
Yeah, that's the other Tom.
He's got a whole jar full, so he should be
Oh,
passing them around.
Really?
Well, he was at
Oh,
the
okay.
Peoria meeting, so.
Okay. I say he's got his fingers in about everything.
Well, that's who I met first.
Okay.
Okay, so
From there.
there's, I can't
But I don't
open.
think there's enough chairs.
We got more.
That's what I'm just wondering if.
What I like to do is I like to wait and see before
Okay,
I go to all the effort of pulling
I'm
all
gonna
the
leave it
chairs
like
out,
that.
turn around and stack them all back up.
You got it up.
I don't mind.
I think. Nobody else is on.
Make life work.
I know, but I
tried
don't
that once,
see
that
like
light bulb didn't
other
come on.
participants. And then Tom sent, was it you, Tom, or the other Tom, sent a slideshow?
What's
So-
the other Tom?
Okay,
And,
Now,
the other
is
Tom's
the-
probably here like right
Owl.
at 7.
Hey.
follow me,
That
Owl.
was after.
Yeah, or 10 minutes after, you know,
Hmm.
Tom time.
Oh, he's gonna be earlier than.
That's red, green. What's this button? Red. The red, I'm assuming means mute. What's
I
this
think,
button?
yes.
There. Okay. It's supposed to follow you though. Do, 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 do. Hi, Owl. It's not following me.
Well, then stay in one place when you speak. and
No,
if
it's
you
supposed
step-
to follow you. Like if you talk or somebody over there talks, it's supposed to
What's
follow
that?
them. Like, see if you guys talk over there. It sees you.
Was is it coming from that camera?
This
Or is it
thing.
the overhead camera that's?
See, I think it's like on there. But I have this guy on.
What if you adjust your table?
No,
What if you expand your screen?
it'll make a hoot sound. Make sure the owl is turned on.
Is the all turned on?
I think so. It hooted at me earlier, but, oh, you know what happened?
14 minutes.
So, yes, the stinking cord. So,
She started off fighting that cord in the beginning too.
you have to have teeny tiny little person fingers to try to get this into here.
Next month we'll bring foursomes.
I know, it's like you gotta go through this hole.
Makes me feel better, because I'm trying to plug that.
There. Good boy. Not you. Oh. Beeping.
It's not a woodpecker instead of a owl?
Says,
Screech owl.
plug in wires, make sure all's turned on, it will make a hooting sound. The light is blue. Now it's no light.
It was the turkey that you got.
There's more than one turkey in there, so yeah, they're all good. They're all fun.
Good. Good.
Hi.
Number.
Oh, hi, new member.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well, how are you?
I don't
That's
think we
Randy.
need this.
PK, she's our membership.
Troublemaker.
And Goldman.
One, two. There's only two places to plug it in.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well, how are you?
Good.
Good to see you again.
Nice seeing you.
How am I? Slightly insane.
Are you insane?
Slightly.
You did ever claim to be
Right.
insane?
Yeah.
I know.
Used to be fully in charge of my faculties.
Well, that's what you get for going to Italy.
And then Kentucky and then Colorado, and we leave Friday for Cuba.
You go.
Uh-huh,
Okay.
I know.
What, Illinois, Cuba?
No.
or-
No, the country,
Side of the fence, Cuba.
Oh,
the country.
Go check on their, beekeeping methods down there.
That's what
Yeah.
I thought would work out. We won't discuss politics, we'll just discuss agriculture.
Okay, well, hoot. Make your little hooty noise.
Look at their old cars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're having a old
Really
car
cool.
tour. Okay. Owl, have I told you I hate you? I do.
I've been fine.
Yeah, I do.
Right now,
Come on.
help me with things, cause it's evading me.
Dave.
For champagne.
Oh, okay.
You helped me with honey for my daughter's wedding.
Oh, that was 3 years ago?
Has it been? I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
oh, I just made a comment a year since I've been over here, but
Oh, it's, I'll say 3, I'll say 3.
feels like,
Well, and then she get married.
no day, it wasn't last year.
Just think, all you gotta do is think of when you had to write the check.
It
That
wasn't
usually-
last year, it was the year before.
Yeah. Well, are the bees doing better?
One hive is. One hive is.
How's that?
Yeah,
Take
this
as
is-
many as you want, we will have them.
That's no problem.
Hey,
Speaker?
I
Did it
have,
get
No.
rain this morning?
I don't know that I'm up to date
Ah.
on my membership, so I have to get my-
This thing's making me crazy.
It showered some, that's all I have.
Gallery.
Had 3/10 this morning,
Mm,
took some pigs to Peoria,
I
to a
got,
locker, and all of a sudden I'm
I got
not
plenty.
quite,
They're husband and wife thing, so probably.
Okay, yeah. it was a
Morton,
family
and they did.
Okay, cool.
I thought, wipers are already on high.
Coming from your.
You have to join the meeting on your.
Semis were pretty active on the interstate today, so that was making me nervous too. Cause I'm like, you know, I'd like to slow down, but.
Apparently I'm the only
Yeah.
one on, and I don't like it when I'm the only one on.
And when I tried to join,
Yeah.
it.
Here, Mason.
Max, how we doing, sir?
There's-
Good. You need assistance?
Well, Tom's supposed to be on the out.
Well, because you need assistance bringing it in.
But it's locked. So till he gets here, I can't get his slide presentation.
Oh,
And my owl isn't doing its owl thing.
I have a thumb drive with him. But he said he loaded on his computer. I sent it to him.
Okay. It's beeping, so it's on, but it's not. There, we have people. We have people.
Started now. No question.
I'm curious as to how many ticks you get.
I know, at first my wife was like, have you lost your mind?
Well, actually, there's a tip app that if it gets embedded in you, and so you send it to Champagne, and they'll tell you what kind of tick it is.
Yeah.
And you take like a picture of it and send it to them, they tell you what kind of tick, if it's been feeding, or how old, and what's
Yeah.
your possibilities of
Do you
Lyme.
need this table closer?
Oh, that's what I think, I did not know that.
Yeah, because you know, I pull them off me all the time, but when they're embedded and it's, you know, it's kind of like, those make me nervous.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but there's,
How long is it when you can be, you know, yeah.
and they can kind of tell from the picture if it's been feeding or not.
Oh, yeah, because they change color.
Yeah, so they can exactly that, so.
Yeah.
Speaking of town.
I'll let you know.
Take it up. I want it, and-
Alright, so
Okay.
still having problems with the owl. That's on.
Well, the
But it's just not.
previous straw
Muted.
polls were it'd be 10 minutes after the fact, but he's actually gonna be 5 minutes early. It happens.
The only cord I didn't use was this one, but there's nowhere to put it.
Power's on.
Yeah,
Camera's hooked in here.
yes.
I'll make one up for you.
And it's plugged in over here, or we wouldn't have power.
And
I think your slideshow
Oh,
is
yeah,
locked.
turkey guy, I know,
Need a Google password.
the turkey guy.
Hey, I've been called worse.
I know. Is it his Google password? Oh,
Let me see if I
okay.
guessed right.
Actually, it's
Is
big. No,
No,
Beer Can Marvin.
May I?
okay, Then I know that.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them to her, then she talks to everybody, so she
Yeah.
can add
Tiny little small one.
It should take two. That's me.
That's you.
Yeah, cause they get dirty and some of them work better than others. Yeah, you can go. ahead
Okay,
and
what's
pass
your,
them
you know,
out.
your,
If you don't get rid of them, I'll say.
This is what happens when you click on it out of the email,
this is what happens
out
when?
of the email.
Yeah.
to this.
Yes.
What do you mean?
You're gonna have to log in.
It's a turtle.
You don't have a Gmail account?
That's on a wing.
Here,
This
I'll
is
just,
a
I'll
tail.
log into Zoom and then I'll share it on my
Outer
screen.
wing is this
So just,
one here.
On your screen over there? Okay.
I'll
They
just
all
share it.
work. I mean, that's the one
I
I
gotta get out of
prefer.
this one.
Probably any feather basically.
So.
No, mine are better.
I'm trying to get out of this one. Just X out of that. There we go. Cause this is where his presentation was, but
Yeah.
we don't need that, so. I'm going to X out of that for now.
That makes you
And
feel-
then
You're supposed to be right on the chair.
we have- we have
Well, that's correct. First person. It's
chat,
not my first
chat.
deal.
No, I guess it's, I guess it's fine.
I'm better off at North South.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Said hi.
Gotcha.
Just-
Okay, then I have to.
How I tell you, if I write with my right hand. That's the way I go.
Couldn't we turn them tables around and send
Oh,
them? in the-
connecting to your, no.
I don't see why not.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, great. How'd you do it?
Just don't go this way. 'cause-
Right. I'm gonna unplug it. That's what happened last time.
Okay.
Or a Chevron.
So. All right, who else we got? Hey, we got two Karens, Karen Davison and a Karen. Hello, anybody that's online,
That's, you know.
we are working on, somebody's just iPhone.
Yeah, when they're always together, I.
Oh, waiting on Tom P.
Why do you take over now?
They're interchangeable.
Elise, we have to. Oh, actually, I'm teaching a scooter class. I had these two girls here in this, Wesleyan college. Isn't that kind of similar?
Yeah, so do I have to allow you to share?
And,
No?
you know, they told me there's this thing.
You can just do it?
I think he owns this, so he should be able to share.
Okay,
I laughed.
and then we want speaker.
A little,
Hi.
a few more places.
Right.
They're twin.
Thank you.
Denise goes, yeah.
All right, are we good? Got you big up there? Okay.
That's my sister Karen.
Yeah, these two are.
Wish there was drinking a lot. Suspension.
Denise,
I always feel like that.
you wanna
I
go
need
in?
a
and
little
sit?
something after this. And then there was a paper here for me to sign
You mean that one?
for work. Yeah,
I moved you over.
okay. Thank you.
No, you don't mind.
I've got one of each feather.
You said that, but you gotta do it, so.
What?
I said, you say that, but you don't drink.
I have to. I'm thinking I might have to start.
Okay, that's, the next one for me is, we talked about swarming.
Next one? Just leave this right here.
Yes, sir. Perfect.
Style, Matt. That's the way you
start
a presentation.
That's a pro tip.
So how do I announce it? It's Tommy. Oh, okay. I'll do that little like.
Look at that, big voice, yeah, and that's kind of where I was getting from this, because we had just talked about. Putting.
Oh, yeah, good, you? I'm good. I just got back from Kansas City Sunday. I was out at the NCAA wrestling final.
Okay. How'd you do?
I was 1-0. But it was my son, so I pretty much do like to take, you know.
Hi, how are you? Okay, yeah.
He's getting harder to take. He's up about 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say first grade. No. Oh, no, he's been taller than me since fifth grade.
I saw him how he's getting his shoot up.
I'm solo.
You're solo?
Excellent.
Okay,
I can handle it.
okay, okay.
They wrestled, all 4 years of high school, they wrestled 152 pounds. He got to college and was up to 184.
What's the beer? Well, yeah. And then he hit 200.
Yeah, he hit 200, bro.
What's Wolfert's name?
Pardon me?
What's the Wolfert's name?
I don't know. It's not mine.
Dog.
Okay,
Oh, I do.
Butch,
okay.
couple weeks ago, shot over to Chattanooga, met up with some cousins, came from Gainesville, we picked up a blue healer, and he's been working out pretty good so far.
Oh, cool.
But,
High energy. My brother had one of those. And I laugh because it's over a mile back around.
23rd, we just had.
Behind the mountain, sometimes where his cows are.
Yeah, that's
He'd
kind of
go,
where I was.
Go get cows. And the dog would look at me, he'd go, and get the bull. And dog would take off, and he'd be gone a while, but
so,
he'd bring them out.
we were moving some cows around, with some heifers, to a different pasture, and he thought he'd go over there and introduce them. And they chased him around out of the pasture, and then we, have a nanny that's due to have some kids any day now, and, moved her from one pen to another. Well, we moved the gate, so there's no gate, so when he came to check her out, she nailed him so hard, really ringing the bell, so,
He's getting a good break in.
yeah.
We have, June 15th,
Yeah.
June
So
25th.
we won't do that again,
With,
Now
Jim.
That one my
Yeah.
brother had, now he chomped the tail off of one cow.
June what?
She turned on him after him. She made a habit of coming after him.
I am in Alaska.
He kind of taught her that he could not enjoy with.
I'm in Alaska.
But now
Okay, you ready?
the bull will get a little bit stubborn, but he brings the bull.
Okay, great. All right, welcome. Okay, we're on for our meeting. We've got Mac here, ready to go. Some up picks. We did have a class, that had quite a few people. We had a great, hardware workshop. I just finished a class at, Heartland with another 3 newbies in us and within it. Next month, we are going to be talking about swarming and, possibly splitting and swarm prevention. The month after that will be pest and diseases. Hi, Ken. A couple things. I'm going to start the club inspections. If the weather is cooperative this weekend, so once a week, I'm, rotating between Friday, Saturday, Sundays, and Mondays, having club activities out at my place. Either it's typically trying to do inspection of the hives. It might be like we've got some swarm traps to put up here pretty soon. So I'm going to start putting up swarm traps and doing things like that. Work around the club hives, the different types of hive we have. I am coordinating with Unity, which is an extension, which is part of the extension. So part of our, I talked with the director and at Unity, which is in North Normal, off Orlando. They've got like a garden program, a vegetable garden program there, an after school program. Jeff just took the class, and my goal is to set up a couple hives there, mentor Jeff for this year, and then he kind of takes over the following year. So we have a couple of hives out at the Unity, trying to get the kids involved there. We've got our next year class. Kara came through for us, and we're going to have it in January 25th next year at Lincoln.
Okay, are those gonna be extra club hives up
There-
there, or are we?
It's going to be it's going to be. I'm going to use the boxes that the U of I had, but it's going to be technically the club's hives. So it's a cooperative activity.
All right.
And my goal is, as far as bees to go in there, is splitting some of the hives that I have and moving them there.
Okay,
So not actually needing to buy bees, but using the equipment they have, because they've got 12 medium boxes at least, and some frames and stuff. So, and they also have some like jackets and smaller kid sizes. So again, I want to try and set 2 up there using the extensions, equipment, splitting our club hives and doing a cooperative with them. Kind of a payback for letting us use the room. And stuff like that, so. Anything else, anybody, I'm missing or need to clarify or? All right, we have Steve McNair, also known as Mac. Salem for Youth up in Flanagan. Does a great program, so please explain some of your programs and you're gonna explain the Master Beekeeping Program.
I am.
All right, go for
All
it.
right. I appreciate the opportunity to share with you guys a little bit this evening. But I am going to talk about the Master Beekeeping Program that I was a part of. And these numbers will have some significance down the way, 59 or 58 and 69. All right. In 2011, I left my business. I started a business in 1984, a graphics design business, and did work for State Farm and a variety of companies. And had taken it to as far as I could, I felt like, because the technology was starting to bypass me. You know, I didn't even know my Google password, so you know. So I was enjoying what I was doing, but felt like it was time to move on. I didn't want to be that old guy that started a company and then hung on till he was resented. So I left and had the opportunity to have lunch with the then director of Salem for Youth. Salem for Youth is in Flanagan, Illinois, just north of Gridley. The ministry started, it's a faith-based ministry. It started in 1896. And originally it was an orphanage for boys and girls, infants through high school age. And now it's changed to where it's just for boys, high school boys. We have a dozen young men there from, literally we've had them from across the country. I think the furthest one we have there now is up from Alabama. They come for about a year and a half. And they get counseling, mom and dad get counseling, and the idea is to bring about some reconciliation and restoration in the family. So it's a wonderful opportunity to speak into the lives of these young men. So I started at Salem in 2011. I saw this sign online somewhere, and it applied to me, or as I looked at it, I thought, that I can agree with that. Be brave enough to suck at something. Okay. And so for me, my beekeeping started with my wife. While I was at Salem, when I started at Salem, Martha, my wife said, Mac, Heartland, and the cover girl right there.
You know what cover
That's fantastic.
I think I even saw you on like one of those digital signs too, when I went by there.
Yeah.
I'm everywhere.
Can I get your autograph?
Absolutely.
My wife, Martha, saw in a magazine very similar to what PK has there, that they're offering a beekeeping class at Hartman. And so she said, Mac, you ought to think about doing that with the boys up there. Well, not yet. Did you hear the whoop? So we went, I thought, well, okay, why not? So we went and took the class, and some of you may be familiar with a guy named David Burns from Champaign. Well, he was supposed to be the teacher, but something came up, and so his wife came, and she did the class and did an excellent job. And I said to Martha, I said, you know, maybe someday it'd be kind of cool, because he's a master beekeeper and apparently this YouTube celebrity and all this stuff. I actually met him at that conference that we were at down there in Louisville earlier this year. But so I thought, well, let's try it. Just try beekeeping. Let's try it on the ramp. So in 2012, that's when we started beekeeping on the ranch. So here's the first number. That's how old I was when I started beekeeping. 58 years old. And so when you think back on that little sign there, be brave enough to suck at something new. Well, here we go. And so that's how we got started. The boys, there's a vocational program there where they work with horses, they do welding, they learn woodworking, photography. Beekeeping up there is strictly voluntary. The other classes are mandatory. That's part of their vocational program. So the boys that will help me with the beehives up there, it's all voluntary, okay? So up there, I work with the boys in a variety of areas in the beekeeping that all of you guys are familiar with. You know, this was probably some summer afternoon based on the sweat on my hat backwards. But work with the boys, teach them about building woodenware. In fact, I believe that jig here that we're building these in, actually Tom lent it to me to build jigs. So we teach them how to build the frames and work on other parts of woodenware. We also have we have a program up there where you can sponsor a hive. And if you sponsor a hive, we give you 3 pounds of honey in the fall after we've harvested it. And this family here wanted to sponsor a hive, but also you can't really see it very well. But I gave them a deep box and said, paint it up, you know, make it fun. So they got, you can see comb on there. They actually took and painted one of our muth jars. We sell the honey from Salem at different events and use it to help keep the program sustainable. The boys, we have a fall day or late summer where we cut the honey. I can't tell you how many boys I said, well, we're going to cut honey. You like honey now? They said, come on, you gotta just try it. I don't want to match. I said, come on, just give it one. And whew, look out. That's right, Tom. They're like, woo, woo, woo. And if anything, some of the boys said, by the end, they're like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten so much. So they get involved in that as well. This one is, although it's voluntary, when we cut the honey and stuff, all the boys participate in it. Not all the boys work the bees, because we have some boys that are allergic. And so we have to be really cognizant of that and make sure that we're safe around them. And then we work the hives. The boys at first they're a little bit hesitant about coming out there. They may have been stung, they maybe kicked the hornet's nest and paid the price. And I say, I'll promise you won't get stung. But we'll give you the vests, your gloves, you know, they pull them way up here, all that sort of thing. And I don't know that, I may have had 1 or 2 in all the years we've done it that I got stung. And they actually were like, it was like the red badge of courage, you know, it's like stung, you know. So that's a part of what we're doing up there. The other thing that we really enjoy doing is helping Tom when he gets back from Georgia. We generally bring a couple boys down and they help him load up customers with packages and stuff. So this is one of our boys who worked this past year helping Tom and all getting done. So they get to see how the bees come through getting them in hives and so starting nukes and then getting them in hives. So in my time as a beekeeper, I've done a cutout. You notice I said a cutout. Never again. There's other guys that get off on that, but not me. But I had someone from Flanagan call. They knew we had bees, and they said, "We got bees in our house in a wall or something. Can you come and cut them out?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." Ooh, what a stinking mess. So I've done cutouts as a beekeeper. Some of you know Raider Farms. Oh, I've had opportunities over the years to go, and they have the Rop Road Rally, and they've asked me to come and cut honey and let people spin it and kids, so I've had opportunities to do that. Making woodenware, but these are swarm traps. Not this year, but last couple of years, I've made them for John at Hilco. I think we probably made over the last 2 years about 300 of them. So woodenware, and then also this is a photo actually from when Tom and PK and Arthur and stuff, we'd host a group at the ranch to work the hives and stuff. Okay, so many of you probably subscribe to newsletters or websites or something that have to do with bees. If you're a beekeeper, you want to learn all the stuff that you can. And so this is one. The Bee Conservancy is one of the websites and organizations that I get mail from periodically, updates and so forth. So the Bee Conservancy, one of the notifications or one of the emails I got talked about how the Bee Conservancy and Texas Roadhouse were doing a deal where might as well boop it now. There we go. Okay, they had a deal for a while there called Save the Bees. And for every drink, they have the Tennessee nectar. This nectar is the perfect blend made of jack honey, cranberry juice, lemonade, and a touch of the finest call peach puree, or beach bee, delightfully beachy beverage made with jack honey, a touch of pineapple, finest call pina colada mix, our signature sweet and sour, topped with a splash of Sprite. So the Roadhouse with the Bee Conservancy said a buck of every drink that was sold would go towards building up scholarship. And the Bee Conservancy touted that on their website. So I'm cruising through, looking at my email, and I see this thing. I'm like, because I had looked at the Master Beekeeping idea a couple of years ago, and it's like $900 to do the whole program. And I was flat out of $900, to be honest with you. And so I never pursued it really that much. And then this happened. This came. Whoop. Well, here's what's interesting. My wife and I were down in Florida, and in the process of we were near Cape Canaveral, actually, staying at a little hotel on the beach there. And I took my computer with me to start working on the application. Look what showed up.
Made a friend.
And so there they are. It's the same, it's the same bee, but in different positions. Apparently, she was checking what I was filling out and what my application and so forth.
Some propolis on the side here.
Yeah. But I thought, how cool is that? I'm just sitting out on the balcony and a honeybee hangs on to my computer. So I didn't take it as a sign, but I thought, so what I learned was they will choose of all the applications, we'll choose 3 applications to give this scholarship to. And so I got my application complete. Thank you for successfully submitting your application to the Bee Conservancy Scholarship for Cornell Master Beekeeper certification. Be in touch in the coming months with the status of your candidacy. If you have any questions, please feel free. Hive 5, the Bee Conservancy. Now, I haven't heard that one, but that's one PK will use at some point. I guarantee. Hive 5. Okay. Boop. So I sent it in. Waited, almost kind of like forgot. And I thought, I guess didn't get it. January 26, 2022. Congratulations. We're pleased to inform you you've been selected as a recipient of the Bee Conservancy Scholarship, blah, blah, blah. All scholarships awardees have to receive a passing grade on all coursework, including oral, written, and field exam. Provide one educational experience to be determined by the Bee Conservancy's community, and share your beekeeping story and course expectations on the the Bee Conservancy's channels and channels of scholarship with a partner with Texas Roadhouse. So. You know what? Yeah. And again, high five. So for Cornell, for eCornell, everything's done online. All the coursework is done online. You log in, they have, I mean, you know, but at this age here, I'm a little older than 58 by now. And so getting all my passwords and all that stuff, but I got it done and started the program. So you do all the work online, and I also decided that I wanted to print out all the different modules. So here's one module, okay? It's not, granted, it's not both sides, but so here I am, I'm online doing the coursework, and I printed it too. And I don't know if this one has any in it, but yeah. So I go through the coursework and highlight it and that sort of thing, so I can go back and review it. So this is my shelf and down in my office. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 binders. And it goes anywhere from rewards and contributions of beekeeping, to paths, to the science and art of beekeeping. I mean, it covered everything. How you can sell honey, how to set up, just a variety of things. Okay, so question. The #1 area in which beekeepers reach out to Cornell University Honeybee Research and Extension for support is what? What do you think?
Yes.
What do they contact Cornell for to get information about?
Yes.
Pardon me?
Pest diseases.
Hive 5. Yeah, managing pests and diseases. And I can remember my docent who was involved. Everybody gets a docent. They said that's worth the price of the class right there. If you can get proficient at managing pests and diseases. So this is the book right here for the managing pests and diseases. So new parasite on the horizon, acute bee paralysis virus, complex sac root virus. Okay. So there were courses that we had to do, projects that we'd have to do. It was very regimented so that, you know, it would be easy to sort of they give you like a date, due dates, this has to be done by then, and it was brilliant because otherwise the tyranny of the urgent takes over and you get behind. So it was designed more to keep you from getting behind. So there was projects at the end of each module or each section. There was a quiz. Here's one of the questions: true or false? Honeybees produce antibodies. True or false? Okay. What do you think? False. It's not like us where we get a disease or we get sick. You know, we build up immunities. Honeybees don't do that. And so you had to score at least a 90% on the quizzes to move on and to be satisfied with it. And you were allowed to take it as many times as you wanted until you pass at a 90%. And so that's what I would be doing at home at nights, taking quizzes and all that sort of thing. So for me, all this information was like drinking from a fire hose. I was just like, you know, can I do this? And there were times I have to admit, it's like, I don't know I can get this done. I don't, you know, it's just so much information coming at you. Plus you have the deadlines and all those things to get done. And so you had 15 months to complete the program. Now, in that area, in that time, they give you some time off to work your bees, because it goes through the summer too. So there's like a period of time where you can stop if you get caught up, and then there's a break there, and then you get back at it after the fall. So 15 months, okay. Okay, so it's like drinking from a fire hose of information. Specific dates, due dates were done for each of these modules. And some were a little bit more aggressive, they seem to be, than others. Like I said earlier, you have a time off during the summer season to work your bees. Get assigned a mentor. My mentor is a guy named Frank Mortimer. He wrote this book, Bee People and the Bugs That They Love. I guess it was on the New York Times bestselling list a little bit. But we would have occasionally, we'd have Zoom meetings to talk about different things. He was always available if you had questions and you wanted to ask him. He got back to us quickly. We occasionally have group chats, and like I said, each module has quizzes. Has quizzes and then the final exams. Quizzes and a final project, and then final exams. So it's like drinking from a fire hose of information. Remember these things? Did you ever use these when you were in college or whatever? Where you notes, the study notes, and a ring binder. I have about 4 or 5 of these. I put them in my truck. I have them with me to review. Some of you may be familiar with a program called Quizlet, where you can make digital cards and flashcards. You can run them through your phone or online, and they kept track of how you did and that sort of thing. So I was using anything I could use to consume the fire hose as best I could. So, boop. So I got down near the end, got finished up, and it was time to schedule the exams. Now, I should have listened to the director of the Bee Conservancy, because he's a master beekeeper, and he said, don't try to do them all on the same day. And also, I wanted to do, you could do it one of 2 ways. You could get like a GoPro, put it on your head, do a hive inspection, and it had to be no editing involved. You just talk about what you're seeing and that sort of thing. You could take the final exam online. And then your presentation, your final presentation, you could do online too. But look how beautiful that is. That's Ithaca, New York, where Cornell is. So Martha and I decided, well, let's take a week and go out there. So we scheduled the different, tests. Ended up being all in one day. But we went to Cornell, and it was great. Some of you may have heard of Dice Lab. That's Cornell's research lab there. And I was kind of expecting like this big giant building somewhere. So and it said on Google Maps it was only like 1.25 miles or something from where we were staying in downtown Ithaca. And so I'll just walk. So I saw the concierge in the hotel, and I said, I need to go to Dice Lab. They say it's like 1.25 miles. It's walkable, right? And he looked at me like, are you kidding me? Because if you've ever been to Ithaca, New York, it's like, I mean, there's hills and mountains and all that sort of stuff around there. It's a basin where one of the Finger Lakes are. And so Martha and I thought, well, let's just drive it the first time. And we got about 1/4 mile of that. There is no way, Mac. that you could have walked to this place. And so it was good that we did that. So we get to the lab. I had arranged for the hive inspection at 7:30 in the morning. And then the slot that I had to do the presentation and take the exam was later in the afternoon. So the first was I walked in and I said, okay, so at my presentation, I had prepared one for, I think it was 15 minutes or something like that. And the lady there that was in the lab, the extension lady said, no, you've got 13 minutes. And as soon as 13 minutes goes off, you're done, whether you're done or not. I'm like, okay. So went back to my hotel and culled out some of the slides that I had and that sort of thing, and got it down to the 13 minutes. So this is where I took the exam. It's a very unassuming building. They're doing research here. These are like a screened area where they had bees. I didn't necessarily find out what it was that they were doing in there, but it was a way to keep the bees contained, but yet could also allow them to fly around. So to complete the course, you need to have, there's 3 parts to it. The first one is a hive inspection. And we were told that they prefer you to do it barehanded. You know, I've done that before. You can use nitrile gloves if you want to. But there was a lack of communication, I think on my part, for sure my part, where I met the guy there at 7:30, and he has this list of things that he's going to check as I check the hive. And he said, so you went over all this, and that was the first time I saw it, of what I needed to comment on. I'm like, who? And he said, well, here, look, and it's 2 pages, the list of the stuff that I have to point out or observe and that sort of thing. So anyway, I went out to the hive there at the ice lab, opened it up and just talked. Everything I saw, you know, how we're taught to take the frames up carefully, and, you know, what am I seeing? Oh, there's some eggs, there's some brood, there's this, there's that. Looks like they're bringing in nectar, blah, blah, blah. I was trying to think of as many things as I could talk about with the one I saw. So the hive inspection. So that took, I think it was about half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that. So I get done with a hive inspection. Then my next thing I gotta do is my presentation. So it's an oral presentation, but between when I did the hive inspection and one my oral presentation, I had probably 4 or 5 hours, 4 or 5, yeah. So I said, is there a coffee shop nearby that I could grab a cup of coffee? And they said, oh, there's this one called the Falcon, or can't remember what the name it was. So I go there thinking, well, I'll just take time, go through my presentation, do a little bit more cramming. And so I'm sitting there and I have a cup of coffee and a roll and I'm doing it. And I still have like 2.5 hours. So I go up to the barista again. I said, what's that Falcon thing? I was naming one of the drinks. So it's this and that. I wasn't really locked in. But she said, I said, yeah, I'll take one of those Falcons. Oh boy. It must have been like pure caffeine. Because I downed it and I'm like this, you know. And I have to get ready to go and do my oral presentation. Now, they give you a list of different things that you can do a presentation about. But it just so happened that we had been down visiting my daughter and son-in-law in Texas, and she asked me to help her cut the honey from her hive down there. They had 2 hives. And so they had already pulled some frames, and there were these holes in about the size of a little 5-year-old's finger, where apparently my granddaughters had tried it, you know. So we get these frames out and we start cutting. Ooh. That's the honey that was good. I mean, it's a motor. It looks like molasses or, I mean, it's really dark. And I'm like, what? So you can take a look. It looks like motor oil. And so I've seen the different colored honey, as you all have too, in your apiaries, depending on the time of year, what they're bringing in and all that sort of thing. So I started doing some research on it, and I came to the conclusion that it was honeydew honey. And honeydew is actually the excrement of aphids. They have, their hive was in a oak grove. And if you've been to Texas, there you can see puddles of like the sugary substance under some of the trees, like the oaks and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's what they make the bee. Now, I would imagine that there is some pollen in that and other nectars, but it's so black. And that was, I cut that a year or so ago, maybe. And so it turned out that I could do my presentation. One of the options was honeydew honey. So it was fun to be able to do that presentation because I was talking about, I mean, I had done research in a way, and I was talking about something that I didn't have to, I mean, I looked up stuff and studied it, but it wasn't a topic that I had to learn about. I actually experienced some of that honeydew honey. So it turned out really to be really kind of a fun thing. So I'm doing my presentation. I'm still a little bit, I'm getting close to being done, and I hear and it was the docent's phone going off. I'm like, okay. And she said, no, go on, you know. And so she let me finish the presentation and also allowed for questions. And then, so then, whoop. So I've had my hive inspection. I'm wired on Falcon and did my presentation. And then for some reason, I don't know whether it was a Falcon or it was just being a knucklehead, I just assumed all along that I'd take it on the computer, you know, like you can type out your answers and pick of these three or whatever. But no, it was handwritten. And so there were three of us, there were three presentations, and then three of us took the exam, and it was with a pencil. I wanted a pencil because my hands by then are shaking because I'm so wired up on caffeine. And I'm writing the answers, and I can't even hardly understand what I'm writing. And because it's just so, it almost felt like I had to do this. So you give you 2 hours to do the exam. And I used every bit of the 2 hours and finished up, went through it, did the thing where you go through it first time, ones that you think you know or you feel pretty confident in, and then go by again. And I did my best not to second guess myself on some of the answers. And I think maybe the Falcon helped me because maybe the people who reviewed the test couldn't understand what I wrote, and they just assumed that. So anyway, and so then you wait. I learned about the hive inspection, I think it was 2 days later, that I had successfully done the hive inspection. Oh, let me back up. The 3 areas, if you take the test and you pass 2 of the 3, you can take the next one, you can take that one over again the following year, and you don't have to take the other 2. So if you get 2 out of 3, then you only have 1 test to work on and prepare for to complete the program. And then the presentation, I heard back about a week or so later. That I had passed that. And then the test, which is the one I was most concerned about. Didn't hear, and I'm already thinking, Mac, you gotta start going through, getting ready again. At least you've been through it one time, you know the kind of questions they ask. And so I was prepared to have to retake the final exam again. Didn't hear. Finally, it was like, I think it was like a couple of months later. And I get this email, and you know, like when you're gonna get an email, and you're not sure if you wanna. Okay. And I had said from Cornell, I think it said test results or something. So I went off on this else somewhere, and just sat there and just went like that. And fast. And so,
Why such a terrible delay?
I don't know, they're trying to kill me.
Decipher his writing.
Yeah, right. And so that's the other number. I was 58 when I started keeping bees. I'm 70 now, so I passed last August. I learned about it from last August getting past. I was 69. So you don't have age. Sure doesn't necessarily need to be a factor if it's something that you want to learn. The thing I learned is how much I don't know. I love coming to these meetings. I love picking the brains of Tom and Mike and Arthur and PK and all that, and learning. But I think one of my bigger takeaways is how much I didn't know and how much there is to still learn. And, you know, do I know all the information in there? I've gone through it once or twice, but no. But it's a great resource to have and go back and refer to. So, the takeaway from this little presentation is you can teach old dogs new tricks. So anyway. So, thank you. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried honeydew honey. I have spoons here. If you guys want to try it, it's got a unique taste to it, sort of woody, strong. I mean, I've had buckwheat honey before, and it's dark, but seems to be even darker than buckwheat honey. Oh, and then the other thing, I learned about this. Have you guys ever seen one of these?
Chocolate opener?
No. Well, I met this guy, it's Mr. Ed, right? Oh, yeah. Mr. Ed down, he's a guy that does YouTube videos, and we met him down at the conference that we were at.
It was Mississippi.
What's that?
Mississippi or Louisiana.
Yeah, Louisiana. So anyway, I'm on the treadmill the other night, and I'm watching his videos. He's a character, he's a fun guy. But he's talking about this, and I thought it looked like a ray gun or something, or lightning. And so he holds it up to the camera, and I do a screen grab on my phone real quick, and then printed it big enough to printed it so I could make kind of the outline of it. So no, it's not a bucket opener. I've never seen one of these before. But that's the fun thing about being a beekeeper, right? Particularly if you like to putz around and make stuff. This, you know, sometimes when you pop your boxes apart and some of the frames stick to the box above. Well, he said, take this, pop them, you see that, you put this in there. And then what you can do is take a hive tool and push the frames that are stuck to the frames above, and then just lift it up and take it out. Because any of us who have done that, it's sort of a pain, because if you have that, you're trying to get hive tool up over it and all this sort of thing, whereas this thing, and it really works. This thing, you can stick between the boxes and you have a space that you can easily take your hive tool and push the frames down, so. Anyway, but that's the other thing I love about beekeepers. I mean, they come up with all kinds of crazy stuff that helps life be a little bit easier in the apiary. Yeah, right, that's right. So, any questions or? I should have.
How many hours a week do you think you studied?
Well, they said, well, you should probably figure 3 or 4 a week. I was glad I could do it at home because I could be at least home when my wife was in the house. Because I spent a lot of hours at the kitchen table studying, and she was great. She was really supportive and stuff. And I have to admit that partway through, I thought, there's no way. There's no way. It's like it truly was like drinking from a hot fire hose of information. And I'm not the world's best student. And so I have to come up with ways like these cards or that Quizlet thing or the printing it out and going over it and to try to get it through my thick skull. But apparently it worked. So be brave enough to suck at something new. That's my closing thought. So any other questions or anything? Appreciate the opportunity to share with you all, and I look forward to hearing your presentation about when you get your master beekeeper. You know, John Hill was funny. John Hill said to me when I told him before I even started taking classes, "Hey Matt, what are you doing now?" He was like, "What are you gonna do with it? What are you gonna do with a master beekeeper?" But I know that I've learned a lot more about bees, and ideally it's going to help me be a better beekeeper down the road. The other thing that I was a takeaway, I use Google Scholar a lot, and they encourage you to use Google Scholar. If you have questions about, there's research being done all the time by scientists, entomologists, and so forth. And if you get on Google Scholar and type in a question or they'll list papers that are written by scientists. And so sometimes things that we share with each other based on our experience, sometimes science will say, other times science will like, right. And so it's an interesting adventure. So what I started doing more and more as I was going through this and studying was looking at Google Scholar and seeing what they have. They're not the end all be all. They're probably, they got like a little yard there with like I screened and stuff, and they're working, and they're not working 20 hives, or they're not, you know, there's a lot of different variables that a researcher can't do that a beekeeper that's doing it learns and does. But Google Scholar is a great resource in terms of the scientific side of beekeeping. So
How many hives are you running with your boys up at Salem?
I think right now I have 8. And then we have 4 in Denver, so probably a dozen. And I'm gonna get some more bees from Tom coming up. But and there'll be some things I'll do different this spring than I did and I've done in the past. But
Such as?
pardon me?
Such as?
Well, learning about, well, here's the thing, let me back up. There's some great resources in this room and friends of people in this room. So yeah, I got a master beekeeping thing from Cornell, you know that, and well, I didn't even think I could get a falcon that for that. But the fact is, I am looking forward to learning more about queen rearing from people in this room and from Tom and Mike Lavazza and those guys. Just because you have that doesn't have the certification done. There's probably people in here that have forgotten more than I know. And so, but yeah, I mean, just being aware of like inspections, looking at the value of what kind of plants and flowers that you plant and make available to your bees. One of the things that I learned was spacing your hives out. Tom Seeley, who is a professor at Cornell, you know, in the wild, they're half a mile apart. And it cuts down on a lot of the disease pressure that hives that are closer together experience. Now, I can't put hives at half a mile apart. I want to be able to work on this level. Practically, but what I found is the hives that I have in Danvers, which are spread out a little bit more, tend to do a little bit better. So you don't get the drifting as much as you would on a hive like. And there are things we can do to help mitigate drifting, even if your hives are close by. But so those are a few things. So, yeah, Ithaca, by the way, if you end up doing this, and I don't know if they're going to do it again with the roadhouse or not. But I would encourage you to go, not do it online. It's a little more fun to do it out there. It's beautiful. And
But you could have done all your final exams and everything at home? Oh, okay.
Out of curiosity, what would you still have had the same response time on if you passed or fail?
respond, what do you mean?
Oh, he means like, would they have let you know sooner or later
Oh,
or whatever?
I don't know.
Because
You
you were
could-
there.
What's that?
You still had to do the visit.
Yeah, well, I determined that I was gonna go there. And take it all, and I should have listened to Guillermo, who is the CEO of the Bee Conservancy, when he told me, you know, you probably don't wanna do them all in one day.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Especially.
You get it done and over with sometimes. It's,
So,
I work.
but
better
then you
under
get it
pressure.
over with, right?
I
it's like heat
work
and
better
spinach.
under pressure.
Yeah,
Give me a deadline.
yeah.
All right, don't want to get you off topic, but we haven't talked much about drifting here. What type of mitigation are you considering?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to, I'd like to space them out a little bit further.
So Mac, for the people that are new, what is drifting first of all?
Oh, well, a bee would come back, and this is their hive, they leave, and then they maybe go to a different hive, not their own hive. So sometimes what can happen in drifting too is, mites can get transferred from one hive to another. You know, Seeley says in the wild, they're half mile apart, and the wild, the feral bees that are up in the trees, they're about a half mile apart, but that's just not practical, you know, with us.
An example of that, I had a friend, and, you know, I said, okay, set your hives up heading east, so I thought he did like this, and the bees that left here came back and
Oh.
went to this hive.
Yeah.
And so this one was dwindling, and then I looked, no, turn them.
Well, and you can do
And,
some
yeah.
things too, like an entrance that way, an entrance this way.
Right.
Different colors of the hives. My problem at the ranch is our director wants them all white or yellow. I was doing some red ones and he's like,
Maybe.
or you know, like, I learned from Tom, you go to Menards and you find whatever they mixed or whatever.
Now everybody's doing it.
Yeah, and so, so that helps too, if you even put some sort of, design, or some people put playing cards on the front, like stick it with a push pin, just something that's a little different that'll help mitigate that a little bit.
That's a common thing with the Slovenian beekeepers is, there's a type of hive called the AZ hive, which originated in Slovenia. And they have a bee house.
Yeah, I've seen it on a trailer, like,
There's boxes, so you can go and access the hives from inside the house. Open the door and they slide out rather than lift up.
Mhm.
But on the outside, each hive tends to have a different color.
looks like a gypsy wagon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're quite
Yeah,
quite
pretty amazing, really.
beautiful,
Yeah, right,
so.
all right, well,
Wasn't there something about red is a color that bees don't recognize.
Well, I think it looks black to me.
Okay,
They see an ultraviolet, they actually don't see it already.
Yeah. That's why I think it's wise to have lighter color. I mean, aside from they think you're a bear, especially you, Ken. Big old bears coming up. But and,
Hey, Max, somebody was asking, was it $900 for the program?
yeah, and I never took advantage of this, but they said if you go out there, they would give you a stipend, like $300. I figured it's a nonprofit, and I know what nonprofits deal with, so we just paid our own way. But yeah, $900 is what I believe it was. So. And if you go to the Texas Roadhouse and they have that thing again, buy one, maybe you can give the buck towards the Bee Conservancy now, so. All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Marvin brought us turkey feathers, but you're gonna have to earn them.
Billy, I've got them. Wait, do you have a stash?
And yeah, you're gonna have to. Okay. Something that you found all interesting about what Matt told us. Or that you learned. Everybody else get your thinking caps on.
Wow. Probably the length of the course is a lot longer than I.
Okay. What did you learn?
You want the white, please? The
You
one.
want the white one?
You take one of each. He's got plenty in there.
You practice with one and then the other. Okay, instead of bee brushes, you use this, correct?
Yeah.
well.
Okay, what did you learn from Matt?
Then I wanna try falcon.
Okay. Okay, Miss Cindy, what did you learn?
I didn't know there was such a thing as honeydew honey.
Okay,
And he ended up doing his whole program with cottage for.
yeah, I didn't either,
So-
you know, so that's, okay, so what is, okay, so the aphids, is this aphid poop?
I mean,
Is that,
essentially.
Yeah,
What happens is they put the proboscis into the leaf and then there's pressure that runs it through them. They get amino acids out of it and that sort of thing to help them survive. But the rest is,
yeah, cause if you get aphids on a plant, you get
Yeah.
sticky and sometimes.
yeah, or they
stuff like
drop
that.
on your car, you get like if they're up in a
yeah,
or something, you
that's,
get that
that's what they,
sticky stuff on your car. I didn't know that they could make a whole frame of honey.
Okay, Randy, what did you learn
What did I learn?
about Mac, or what do you know about bees? You have bees?
No, I just have one colony, that's all.
Well, when are you gonna get the second one?
Well, my colony didn't make it over the winter, so I'm rebooting. And then I've already got all the boxes built, the frames put together, so I'm gonna put 2 colonies. And so.
Alright. Did you go to Sky Valley?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I went to Minot Dana Rutland, which has been a long time ago.
Oh, cause I knew a Randy Stein. I did actually. Okay, Kelly, what did you learn?
That, old dog's getting learn new tricks.
That's it.
It never hurts to suck at something new.
And
Well,
that's
you say it
something
doesn't
I
hurt.
like
Don't be
about,
afraid to suck at something.
and,
Yeah,
you
they can
know,
still
I'll
learn.
go to the class and I'm hearing, you know, like when we do our classes, the same in a sense, similar presentation. But all of a sudden, somebody will say something and it goes, I didn't think about that. And so again, sometimes it's just, all of a sudden somebody says something and, oh, I didn't realize that. And so, you know, you always can learn. And I enjoy teaching as well as taking class. You know, my hubby Colin, well, why are you taking that class? What are you gonna do with it? I'm gonna learn something.
Why is it out there? Why do you climb it? Cause it's there, right? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot more fun coming down. Okay, what did you learn, Denise?
Yeah, I had painted my hair different colors because I thought it was fun,
Uh-huh.
but actually, there's
There
Don't
is.
do that.
some
Yeah.
thing to it.
Mhm.
So,
Okay, Ed?
I want to get a copy of that tool that he's got.
I do too.
Try
Yeah.
Soup to the honeys.
It's rare that I have that problem. Maybe it's just.
it's rare you have that problem.
Okay, he wants a duplicate. So are the boys making those?
They can,
See the boys?
Yes.
I mean, I would have given you a higher score in your program, I could give you one of those for all of us.
Yeah, okay, so put that in your little
Toolkit.
toolkit, sales kit. Okay, Dan, what did you learn?
It's nice that you could retake the modules until you passed.
Oh, yeah. There's a
That's
lot of
comforting.
things, that I do
Comforting. You
teaching
could read-
that you
retake
gotta
it
do
back.
modules. I've got,
As I heard that, it made me think about the Series 6 and 67 exams too. I was like, oh, good stuff.
okay, Dave, what did you learn?
I appreciate that you talked about Salem.
I did
knew
too.
nothing about that program, and I think it's, I appreciate the good work, because I know it's important.
And we need a field trip up there.
Yeah, well, you
Yeah, I
know,
learned other things too. I thought that these were bought in just for ornamental purposes. Until Todd just said, no, you're one of the first.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
they're a very gentle lead ride.
So
It's sticky, it's a new one, right?
totally worth the $20.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Prices are
What did you learn?
Well,
Well, oh, what's your sales pitch?
oh, I've been playing around with my laser and I've made, a patch design.
Well,
And
model
it's
it.
got some- Well. So anyway, I have a number of blue hats and I've got 2 red hats. I've got about 8 of these blue hats. And so I, figured I could offer these to anyone that wants a CIBA hat. Tom's modeling one where he brought his own hat to me and I put it on.
Nice.
But this is, and they're $15 a piece. I'm gonna donate $1 at each sale to the club. So, you know, another thing that I thought might be handy about this is if we use just the blue hats, people have often said, I go to the Bees and Brews and I don't know what
Where you're at.
for. And if,
Where we're at.
especially since I've got a running start on 8 hats. And we could easily get more blue hats. People wear the blue hat and you know, oh, there's some Bees and Brews.
There you go.
So, that's, I only brought blue hats with me today.
You can make requests.
I also do make, I think I got one in here,
One of your three things.
Queen Development Cycle Calculators. And so these are outside circle indicates the day of the month. Inside circle, the numbers there indicate dates since the egg was laid. So today's what, the 26th? Let's say you were gonna start grafting or something. You'd find the 26th on the outside. You'd align day 4, which is the day that the bees like to use that egg, a 4-day-old egg, to start the grafting process. Or if you do a walk-away split, but this will help you predict when to look for calf queen cells, when to move them into a mating nest, when to expect them to merge, when you expect them to, you know, when you should be starting to look for eggs. So,
And the directions are on the back.
yeah.
Tom put it on the screen for all the online people, so.
Yeah.
Cool. This is sort of nice because it's wooden. It'll fit right in your pocket. Go from there. John Hill sells them. I made 50 of them for, just the other day. I've got a few, what I call seconds because when I put this in the engraver, instead of having it this way, I have it this way and the holes are over where it says Queen emerges day 16. So, my seconds I sell for $10 a piece.
So I'll add real quick to this. So even though you're like, I don't want to, I'm not a queen rearer, this is a super handy tool because you can when you see swarming starting in your hive, you're like, oh snap, what happened? Where am I at? What do I do? And it can help you calm some of that panic, right? So like, depending on what you're seeing here, you know about where you are in this life cycle and how much time you got left. Now, you might say, well, I didn't catch when it was a larva, or I didn't catch when that cell was capped. But you know that if the cell's capped, it's between 9 and 13 days-ish in that neighborhood. Actually, I would argue up to like day 15. I don't know what
Yeah.
else is supposed to show there, but the,
It's pretty similar to mine, and day
Yeah.
16 is what. But they do say that depending on weather and different conditions, they could be a day early or a day late.
sure, that, I see that a lot when we're rearing queens. But this is the other important part, like I have to talk people off the ledge every week, multiple times a week, and people are, I don't have a queen. And I have to ask them and go back, what did you see? What happened here? What were the things, you know? And usually 9 times out of 10, it was this right here. So I gotta tell them, give it another week, because they'll say, okay, well, I didn't see a cell, but I saw this going on, or I don't see any broods, so this is going on. Or I saw a cell and the little cap was chewed off, you can barely see it right here. But, you know, you're gonna tell them, well, it's gonna be probably a week to 3 weeks before you start seeing results from that. You know, it could be as quick as a couple days, but typically just be cool, and most of the time it'll work out for you. Sometimes it doesn't, or sometimes you get a poorly mated queen, and that's okay, you can still fix that. But if you have a queen running around there, then you introduce a queen, you're gonna wind up slaughtering the new one, or one of them's gonna die, right? So this is a super handy tool to have in your pocket or in your bee jacket when you see these kinds of things, just as a refresher of, oh, what do I gotta do, how long, or those kinds of things. So nice job.
Yeah, even though I'm pretty familiar with these cycles, I still carry this in and I'm like, okay, it's been 8 days since I was last in this hive. So, you know, the fact that they kept the queen cells, you know, and I saw nothing 8 days ago, will help tell me where I've been. So, yeah, they are handy, even if you're just saying, oh my God, I've got queen cells, now what do I do? And when are they, you know, because you might have found the queen. And of course, my natural instinct is if I've got capped queen cells, I'm gonna pull that queen through some resources, put it in something other than the hive that she's in. That creates a feeling of them saying, oh, the queen's gone, she must have swarmed. And they're not gonna, all those field bees that you're used to having are not gonna be running off to the trees with the queen. So it's a good thing to, you know, but help them manage your resources.
Is that called a queen calculator or what's it
I
called?
call it a queen development cycle. Queen development stage is calculated. I think John's selling these for 16, but like I said, I've got a few seconds. Sure.
And again, swarming is what we're gonna be talking about next month. You know, swarm prevention, you know, what do you do, those kind of things. Okay, Tom, are you talking about that or you know?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Hannah's.
Supposed to be talking about.
Huh?
It was supposed to be today. That's a.
Oh, was it supposed to be today? Oh,
Was it the other half of this one?
I'll pass this around.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna talk about something else with you.
okay, Sharon, what did you learn?
I didn't know there was a Google research type thing. And who found the turkey feathers?
Pardon? He's turkey, yeah, you must have a lot of turkeys in your place.
I have friends and we all hunt. And when I found, they're very good. They work great, why waste them?
Okay, yeah, actually,
Just wash them off, so that they'll get sticky, just wash them off, they're fine.
oh, okay.
No.
Okay, so what did you learn?
I was born in 53 also, and I started 3 years ago, so you're not the oldest.
Okay. 53? What,
54.
Well, you're not 70 then.
Yeah,
When was you born?
January.
when were you born in 53? November what? I'm older than you are. November 11th. Do you like something?
Yeah, I learned you was born on a Wednesday.
Actually, I had a student that did with autism, and he could, you name something, any topic, he'd tell you what day it was. And it's kind
Friday the 13th.
of, all right. So,
So I got another question for Mac.
okay,
So, most of you guys probably weren't here, but he did present, on that honeydew, November 29th of 22, right in the middle of our COVID. We were just, I think, opening up, having in-person ones again. Did you use part of that presentation for your,
That was my presentation,
oh, that was your presentation?
essentially, yeah. I had to change some things, although with this group, it would work, but, I used Beverly Hillbillies, you know, Jed shoots and have some food and up to the ground comes
Bubbling crew?
Well, Texas tea. So, you know, that's what it looks like. Motorboat.
Yeah, so Matt, there was another question in the chat. It says, oh, I have a question. Are there any differences between the master beekeeping courses offered by different institutions, or are they all created pretty equal? I didn't know if you did, I did feel like you did a little bit of research on it, but I didn't know. If you
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Arthur did his at Montana,
We
right?
did the Montana.
And, I think there's some a little bit different. The EAS has one too, which I guess is really incredibly vigorous, but.
That's kind of the cornerstone is the Eastern Agriculture Society.
Yeah.
Is one, that's one David Burns is.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Missouri has one, I know Montana has one, Cornell just kind of came about, I think, which is interesting because Cornell's been in the bee world for a long time. They, that's, I think it's the guy's name, he was a researcher for them that invented the red line queens. He since retired, and I think his son's raising them down in Florida now. Great genetics.
yeah, I ended my presentation out there with a quote from one of the professors. I can't remember his name, but he's been gone. And he said that honeydew isn't edible, and I mean, it's like so bad, it's not honey, you know, but sure it is. It's just not nectar from flowers, so it's.
Well, that's pretty common, because I think the impression that I got in the beekeeping classes when I first started was that fall honey is not edible.
Because it's so
And
strong.
because I'm somewhat rebellious, I had to taste it anyway, and I find out that's my favorite honey. When we started selling honey, because of the dirty sock syndrome,
Oh, right.
we did a taste test. And we had a chalkboard, we took a tab of who liked which, and about 60% of the people preferred the fall honey over the summer honey.
Is that just because like goldenrod and stuff like that being in it, or?
Goldenrod is what you'll smell, or, you know, that will produce a smell in your apiary. And it does smell a little bit spicy.
But I mean, what's the difference in just the different types of flora and fauna in the fall that flavor the honey differently then?
Yeah, if you watch the Facebook group, you'll probably see people if they harvest before the start or the middle of June, they'll probably be talking about how light their honey is, and that's because of the nectar sources. And, then summer honey gets a little bit darker, and then as far as this area is concerned, goldenrod honey is probably the darkest one.
Starts to turn about May, end of May, June. That time frame after the black locust, then it'll start, it'll start getting a little darker. Summer is like the medium, and then as you go into fall, asters and goldenrod definitely make a darker honey. And they make a lot of pollen too.
The other thing with honeydew honey, it's aphids, but it's also gall wasps who will go on a bud of a, say, an oak tree or something and lay their eggs, and it makes a gall, like a ball that weeps, like a sugary substance. And the bees will work that. And then there's acorn weevils who drill a hole into an acorn and lay her eggs in there, and then that weeps too. So there's some other opportunities. One of the things they talk about with honeydew honey is that it doesn't have the pollen in it and that sort of thing. And, and for feed and for the bees, that some guys say you should supplement, but I can't help but believe there's gotta be some pollen from trees in there and other flowers that are around. It's supposed to be higher in antioxidants and some of the other things versus just nectar. I mean, just flower honey, which has a lot of antioxidants and things in it as well, microbial stuff. But the thing that's interesting with that too is, I don't know, we cut that year and a half ago or 2 years ago, whatever, and it's didn't crystallize. And that's another thing.
Oh, it doesn't
I was
crystallize?
wondering if you decrystallized it or not.
Yeah, it hasn't crystallized. And that's one of the other things that I've read, that it doesn't crystallize necessarily as quickly as, the raw honey.
I've seen a chart that lists the tendency of different nectar sources to crystallize.
Well, and the other thing is, that's not a honey that apparently that is real popular in the States, but in Europe, I think 60% of the honey is honeydew honey, because it can go from fir trees, oak trees, and other types of trees that the bees will gather from. So
I've seen a similar honey, I'm curious to taste it, but I've seen a similar one at the Polish grocery stores in Chicago.
okay, yeah.
And it's quite pricey.
Well, and that's the other thing too that I read, that it's more expensive than what we would imagine.
When you got a specialty product, you can charge more,
Right.
because you don't have it maybe, year round, like, okay, like goldenrod, okay, I've got a certain window of it,
Yeah, yeah.
clover, I've got a certain window of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And then, like I say, afterwards, I got individual spoons if you want to try a little taste of it, you're welcome to.
You've got a little cup.
I know, I was wondering if she had some in the kitchen or something.
I'll go see. What?
Yeah, so I guess we'll fill a little bit of the time here and maybe end a little early tonight, but one of the things I wanted to talk about is just some of the questions I've been seeing on Facebook from folks, and I know a lot of people are real antsy about making splits right now. They're ready to split their hives, and they think the season's hammered down, and it actually is starting for sure. I did just see the oh my goodness, it's slipping my mind. Purple flowers, henbit. The henbit's starting to pop. I've started to see the purple along Tawana Barnes, and I see in the field next to me. They did just put down anhydrous, so I'm guessing they're gonna spray probably next week or week after and get seeded. But that's kind of the start, and you'll see already we've seen the pussy willows popped. There's willows and oh my goodness, the autumn olives, maples for sure. Maples are just about done. Elms, I think, have started or are probably just about wrapped up. Hedge will start, we'll go into our honey flows, and there's you gotta stay on top of it. So like, don't get too excited about flipping your boxes, but that's a highly debated topic as to when you do that, you know, do you flip the boxes early and give them room, or do you wait? Personally, I usually wait until the evenings start to warm up a little bit, till it gets in the forties. But, you know, that's up to you. I will say one thing, don't panic, you know, tomorrow or this weekend. When you look in front of your hives and see a bunch of dead larvae out in front of it, it's gonna freeze tonight. So we're getting a hard freeze tonight, as a matter of fact, so I wouldn't be surprised to see chilled brood that they're gonna start picking out and throwing out in front of the hive. So don't worry if you see a little bit of that, don't think it's chalk brood or something like that.
Yeah, sometimes I see something and it takes me some time to figure out what I saw. Cause I saw that at Sugar Grove, it kind of went, oh. What, and I had people out, I thought, what disease do I have? And it was about 24 hours before.
Yeah, so definitely make sure the hardware is cleaned up and ready to go. It's a lot easier to clean when it's cold out than when it's warm. Definitely if you have dead outs, get the bees off the comb because it'll mold up the comb pretty good.
And get it cleaned up, because hive beetles and wax moths will then move in, and then you're fighting them for a number of years. Ask me how I know.
Right. I don't even need to ask you.
Oh.
Been there, done that.
So how about some questions? Anybody got questions about what they clean in their hive, or what to anticipate, or?
Some people I see are asking about the Russian versus Italian.
Oh, yeah.
I did just see that question.
In molasses.
That's all my questions I get, pretty much, is on some of bees. People are like, what kind of bees are they?
That's good.
And that's how I know instantly that you're new or newer, because it's in all the books, right? It's to ask these questions
The
and
seeds
say,
are down there.
what's the, you know, I think a lot of people hang their hat on a magical bee. And there's definitely, you know, strong bees and all that stuff, but I'm not sure genetics are the number one thing and I hesitate to say it that way, but they're not the number one thing about your bees, right? So how you keep your bees and maintain your bees is far more important than the genetics on there. But I did see somebody mention that they were gonna start a new hive, and their mentor told them to split it and put a Russian queen
I hung after they seen that.
on a brand new hive. And that,
Bring the.
that's probably something
Something new.
that's probably something I wouldn't recommend for a new bee, is to start with Russians.
Yeah.
Cause they're gonna be a little more excitable, they're gonna be a little more, they're gonna. The way they build and those kinds of things, like you kind of gotta be on your game a little bit more with them than some of the other breeds.
Well, they didn't want to start with the Russian, they wanted to start with Italians, with just the Russian queen.
That's what I said, it is like, Italian bees, and they wanna put a Russian queen on it. And, sometimes they take to those queens a little bit slower. There's a lot of things there that may not be the best way to get started. I'm not telling you not to do it, and I'm not telling you not to get Russians or not to get a different one or whatever. But, I would probably go Italians or Cardinals for your first hives, kind of get the hang of it and see how they build. This means.
So when we order bees from you or from John, we get to pick, the pipe.
Nice. So, our packages, the packages that I bring up are they're Italians, or I should say Italian cross. Sometimes there's Cardinals in there. The guy that I buy from grass from hundreds of queens. So there's, like, he's producing, you know, 5,000 to 20,000 queens a week. So they're a pretty big operation. Matter of fact, he's gonna be putting, you know, 5,000 packages, I think, on a semi that come up to Wisconsin. They're pretty quick, so like those have all gotta be managed and figured out and all that stuff. So what queens they come from kind of depends which one you grasp from. And then the other part is, you know, what do they mate with is what's around the area. I mean, predominantly they're gonna be Italians for sure from the packages. Nukes, on the other hand, most of ours are Cardinal ones, but I do have Italian stock too, we'll grab from, and get stuff from. But usually it's, like, if they're my queens, they're from varroa sensitive hygiene stock. So either Harlow or from hernial processes with real sensitive hygiene behavior. So they'll have the high, hygienic behavior like Corey talked about a couple months ago, where they'll uncap or they'll smell. If there's something wrong with that, they'll uncap and look inside of it. We posted, I think a week ago or so, we were doing some testing on some of our queens, doing the Harbo assay on there, and what that means is we go through a frame of the brood. We usually shoot for purple eye pupa stage, so when you pull the capping, they have a purple eye, or their eyes starting to turn color. Because then they don't disintegrate when we go to pull them out with a pair of tweezers or forceps. Then you can do it earlier, but a lot of times they're just goo when you pull them out, and they just make a mess inside of the cell. So we usually shoot for purple eye pupas, and we'll pull 300 pupas out of the frame, and we'll look at it under a magnifying glass. And we'll look in the cell first, and then second, we'll look at the larva and see if there's mites on there. And if there's mites on there, are they the parent or the child? There's different words for them, but they'll be lighter or darker, and then you'll know if they have suppressive behavior, if they're suppressing mite production inside of there. So if they're high in English, they're highly hygienic. When they're pulling that capping, they're interrupting that mite cycle. So if they're not, then you'll see a lot of the child mites inside of the cells, and that's how you know that they're not highly hygienic. The stock on there. Now, that said, not all of them are rock stars, just like us. We don't all play for the NFL or NBA, or we're not all rocket scientists or whatever the thing. Some of us aren't, right? So not every child that comes from that breeder queen or the instrumentally inseminated queens that we use are rock stars that show that behavior really well. So you never know what you're going to get out of it, because there's other things that can happen, right? Plus, they're open mated, so you don't know the fathers from it, like what their background is, if they have that behavior or not. Because we're hoping that they breed with 5 to 20 males to make sure that she's laying for a couple of years.
Is that John gets his nukes from you then?
John gets his first batch of bees from me. So the first batch of packages.
The April 20 batch or whatever it is?
Yes.
Okay, so one thing
Goodbye for me next.
you should pay attention to though is while it becomes a necessity, especially for first-time beekeepers to get package bees, the thing you want to be aware of is if you lose your queen after that package arrives, or your current hive has a queen missing, you're best off to seek conscientious queen breeders from our area versus, getting on the internet and saying, oh, I want a buckfast queen, I want a Russian queen, that kind of thing. The bees that are gonna be best for you are bees that have overwintered in this area, and that's their heritage.
I would say the other thing is too, and I'm not just pushing mine, there's plenty of other good breeders in the area for sure. When you buy them from a smaller operation, your queens are probably gonna have a higher mating rate. They're gonna have more males that they've mated with, which will make a stronger queen. So she'll lay a lot longer than the others. So like, for example, my friend, when him and his team and other people that he's buying queens from in the area are breeding, they're gonna pull that queen as soon as she's laying. Where like some of us, I won't say everybody, but like we try and have her lay for a couple of weeks before we pull her. Ideally, I shoot for 3 weeks. So if she lays for 21 days, then everything's solidified inside of her. So the hormones have stabilized and those kinds of things. It'll make for a much, much better queen the longer she's been laying in that nuke before you interrupt her and put her in that cage and she stops laying eggs. So like a lot of times, those young queens that are just starting, they'll stop her right as she starts laying eggs. And then sometimes that causes problems down the road where she may not be the best queen. So learning, if you're new, definitely go mentor with other people and go to, when we open up the hives for the club, PK does it on different days, different weeks, so that if you work nights or you work weekends or those kinds of things, you can make one of them, but, come to that and see a bunch of hives next to one another, because you're gonna learn a lot more with 3, 4, 5, 6 hives next to one another than 1 or 2 hives. You can learn way faster that way and seeing what's normal and what's not normal. So definitely go do that. You'll see what good laying patterns are versus bad laying patterns to say, enough of this shenanigans, she's gotta go, I gotta replace her with a queen that's gonna do better.
I'm not good at that.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
I do a lot. So this year, we're gonna be relentless with that. Where out of our breeding stock, we're gonna try and do essays on all of our breeding stock, but when we find ones that aren't showing high behavior, we're gonna pinch her and replace her. So that when we do that, it then takes about 6 weeks before we can test it again to make sure that that trait is being passed down in the babies that are coming out that high, because that's about the life cycle of the bee during season. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into raising quality queens. I can tell you, probably more tears and more blood and sweat. But
Different subject, but does anyone have use for what do you do with the boxes that the bees come in, the packages?
I take those back.
Oh, do you?
If you want to get rid of them.
Oh, great.
If you're in town with somebody on
I would,
Or
yeah.
bring it to me, bring it. When's your bee pickup day?
the 20th of April.
Good to know.
But it'd be better to get it before you go down.
Yeah, if I can connect with you.
Do you have a location yet, Tom?
Yeah, we're gonna be at Victory Church this year.
Okay.
So we're back there.
Okay,
I think they're gonna be between construction dates, so he said we can do bee pickup there.
yeah, I hear they're making a school there now too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So that's.
Yeah, they did talk, yeah.
Cool. That's really nice. Other questions people are having, starting, get ready?
I guess if weather's cooperative, I'm going in the hive on Saturday. 11 to 2 is my spot, and then it's once a week. Well, I'm going in between Good Friday and Easter. Good Friday, I'm going into my hives, but you're welcome to come then, but it's so Saturday, if the weather's cooperative, I usually go like 11 to 2. Gives me a chance to wake up and get my act together. I am not an early bird.
I bought some honey from Kyle, it tasted just like this. It's down in Havana,
Oh,
actually it's in Barneston or something like that,
Huge stuff.
not Beerstown. Hilltop one.
it's dark like this.
So when you go to a last.
Similar flavor.
I
like that a lot.
It's good.
Well,
I like the black.
It tastes like walnut syrup to me, if you've ever had that. So they'll boil walnut
and we
sap
get
just
back
like
to
maple.
27,
It tastes very similar.
Well, it's got a woody taste.
June,
No. Well, that, I think we can end early tonight.
okay. So, yeah, okay, there's a couple options.
If it's a very picture.